Hey everyone, I'm Bryan McDonald with the Taylor Group, and I'm here today to talk about safety audits and why would manufacturers even care about them. I'm with the Taylor Group, and we do risk management in the manufacturing space, and the reason why we exist is because we help smaller companies compete with our larger competitors and help them level the playing field so they can continually grow and expand their companies. So why should manufacturers care about safety audits? There's a couple different areas, 4 to be exact. And by the end of this, what you'll begin to realize is that safety audits is key not only to a safety program that you're utilizing, it's also important to the strategic planning of a company to grow and expand. So the 4 areas I'm going to talk about today are safety audits help promote efficiencies and profitability. They also help provide evidence of compliance, and they aid in the strategic planning of business. And probably the most important thing to manufacturers is that it creates a safety culture, helps perpetuate and create a safety culture. So first we'll talk about how safety audits help efficiencies and profitability. And as you can see there on the slide below, for every dollar spent on safety, financial decision makers in manufacturing companies felt that they saved $3. And actually the National Safety Council has a statistic that says that for every dollar spent, there's $4 saved. So even if you went on the low end, for every dollar you spend in safety, whether it's a safety program or a safety audit, you'll save at least $3 across the board in your company. And the way that it helps grow those efficiencies and profitability is it helps create, grow, and improve those things. So the way it helps create is if you do not have a formal safety program right now, a safety audit by an internal source or an external source can actually help you see where your deficiencies are and address them and change them so you can start creating a safety culture. The way it helps grow is if you already have a safety program implemented in your company, what it will do is it will help you identify things that you may not see. You know, in enterprise risk management, the number one risk that you have is the risk that you cannot see right now. So what it does is it helps grow the safety program that you have. It helps grow the safety culture that you have by offering a check and balance of what you're currently doing to help improve that along the way. And that leads into my next point of it helps improve because companies that are focused on continuous growth of the top line and bottom line, as well as their employees, always focus on looking at what have we done in the past, what are we doing now, and what can we do to change that to make better. So a safety audit is something that can help you decipher those things of what you've done in the past, what you're currently doing, and what you can do to change and improve that. So the next area I'm going to talk about is how safety audits provide evidence of compliance. And it does that in 3 separate areas. The first is regulatory, the second is an internal policy, and the last is in contract-based. So in regulatory, a good example is OSHA and OSHA inspections. If an OSHA inspector ever comes in or just drops by just to do a random inspection, or if you're having trouble and they're doing a purposeful inspection, it's something that you can show them that, hey, we've done these safety audits, we're continuously improving, we're trying to stay on top of ourselves, and if there was an accident, you're showing that that's an anomaly, not something that continually happens over time. The second is helps you in compliance and internal policy. So if you have a current safety program in place, what that does is it helps you, again, as I said in the last slide, grow and continually improve of what you have currently. Because as we know, if you continue to do the same thing over and over and over again, you're going to get the same results. And if you feel like your safety program is just running in place, an outside internal or an internal safety audit can actually help you get out of that rut and continue to grow. And the last area is contract base. Contract base can mean a couple of different things. In your insurance, it can be the fact that you have a loss-sensitive program or a guaranteed cost program, or even a contract with one of your customers that not only wants to have a high-quality product delivered to them, what they also want is you to have a safe work environment, because if you don't have a safe work environment, that opens up exposures for them to not get their product on time and the right way. So they're very conscious of having the same type of safety cultures, not only in their company, but also in their suppliers' companies. So things are congruent, and you don't run into the missteps of missing dates or low quality stuff, and a safe work environment plays into that. The next area we're going to talk about is how safety audits help create a safety culture. And it does that in 4 different ways. It helps communicate expectations to employees. We're going to talk about how a third-party auditor versus an internal auditor and how that differs. We're going to talk about how it helps track the indicators to accidents. We're also going to talk about promoting patterns of seeking out and creating deficiencies. And lastly, it helps focus on continuous improvement versus reactiveness. So in the first area, helping the communication of expectations to employees, what this does is if you have a safety program and you have an internal or an external audit of the safety program, what it makes the employees do is buy into your safety program and the safety culture. And here's what I mean by that, is that what you're showing them is that not only do we have this safety program, but we're going to check it, and we're going to improve it, and we're going to make changes continually. So it's not just some pie-in-the-sky safety program that, we focus on safety, but we really don't actually hold ourselves accountable to it. And that's what an internal or an external safety audit can do for you. The next is third-party auditor versus an internal auditor. And this is where things can become interesting, because there's 2 benefits and 2 dangers to each of these. The benefit to a third-party auditor is they have no skin in the game to look over things that may be going on just to get the safety audit done. So you have a non-biased view of a safety audit. The danger to it is that internal employees may steer the auditor away from known dangers so they can hide them along the way. The advantage of an internal auditor is that you can actually create a rotating safety auditor. And for example, what I mean by that is if you have a safety team of 3 people, what you do is you rotate the safety audit from person to person to person, so you're always getting a different eye on the safety programs and the safety audit results. And now you're actually creating competition inside your manufacturing facility, because if they're 3 different safety people, they're probably managing 3 separate departments, and now they can create some competition between each other and say, hey, my my guys are safer than your guys, and it really drives home a safety culture and a little competition, and actually makes it fun. And in that case, the rotating safety auditor team actually has skin in the game, and they want their teams to perform better than other teams. So that's a good advantage. The disadvantage is that if they're not fully bought into the safety program, then they will steer themselves or other team members away from known safety dangers so they can score higher and or score other people lower if that competition does arise. So they both have their advantages and their disadvantages. The next area is how a safety audit can actually help track indicators, because you're either one, already doing it, or two, you're not. And if you're not, what it can do is it can help you track those indicators. But either way, typically the thing that is tracked is the safety accidents and not the precursor to it, which are the safety incidents. Because sometimes safety incidents don't cause accidents and injuries. So if you start tracking the indicators to those injuries, then you can start lowering the actual injuries and stop them before they actually ever happened. The next area safety audits help is promoting the pattern of seeking out and correcting deficiencies. So the way that it does that is, as we all know in life or in our safety programs, there are things that you want to correct, and because there are problems or deficiencies. The challenge with that is that when you start focusing on one deficiency, the way we are built in life and just in general, you start focusing on that too much and losing sight of other areas you may have deficiencies in. So what a safety audit does is it helps you kind of recalculate things, saying, hey, we improved in this area, but now in the other area, now we're down in that area. So it helps you constantly shift and move your attention to always stay as far ahead of the curve as you can. The next area, and this pretty much is a broaden of everything else that I've been talking about here in this slide, is safety audits can help you focus on continuous improvement versus reaction. So it's a vigilant approach to safety. So you've got a safety program in place, and you feel that you're doing well, and you just want to continually improve because you realize that once you take your eye off of the prize, of the end game of being completely safe, that's typically where you start seeing some deficiencies. So it's a vigilant, continuous improvement instead of being reactive, and being reactive causes problems. It causes problems in becoming less efficient, less profitable, and a lot of times in the insurance, when you're reactive, you're reacting to injuries that happened, and the next result is higher premiums, whether you're doing self-insured, guaranteed cost program, or loss sensitive program. You know, no matter which way you slice it, your costs are going to start going up. The next area that we'll talk about is safety audits help aid in the strategic planning of business. And you know, by now you may be thinking, how does that help me aid in the strategic planning of this business? Well, it does it in 4 separate areas. It helps you assist in the total cost of risk calculation, so you can understand what your risk costs are as you expand. It also helps in workforce planning. And workforce planning kind of ties into the total cost of risk calculation, because if you're going to grow and train your workforce so you can grow your company, grow the bottom line, grow the top line, there's a cost to that. And this will help you plan out hiring new employees. It'll help you plan out the cost of hiring those employees, and it will also help you figure out the cost that are going to grow in the company, because as you and I realize, the cost of your product that you're making is not just the dollars in to start the manufacturing process and what the cost is at the end of that. There's shipping costs in your manufacturing product. There's also risk involved. You have to pay for injuries or insurance. There's a lot of costs that are involved in that product that you're making, and this just helps encapsulate that all so you can do some better planning so there aren't any surprises. And you can make calculated risk and calculated growth. The next area you can help in is new customer acquisition and customer retention. As you are aware, your competitors out there are making a similar product, whether it is a lower quality or a higher quality or the same, and we're trading customers all the time. You may have some legacy customers, but there are some of your customers that are leaving one of your competitors and coming to you, or out there looking for a new supplier. And having a safe work environment and a reliable product can actually help acquire that new customer, because they're looking for efficiencies. And it also helps you retain your customers. There are some manufacturers that we work with that the only reason why they are vigilant in their safety programs and getting an external safety audit done is because they are bent on keeping their customers. And whatever they have to do to stay above the curve and keep their customers, they will do, because their customers come into their facilities and look at them. They're possibly Fortune 1000, Fortune 500 companies, and they want to see clean work environments. They want to see safe work environments, because what they begin to realize is that when they see those things, they know that the probability of having a superior product provided by you is going to happen. And the last is growing the top line and the bottom line. Having a safety audit helps you get those new customers and retain your current customers. That will grow the top line, and being vigilant in your safety program by offering a safety audit will help you lower the costs of safety in your business, so you can increase the bottom line. The best way to grow a company is not just on the bottom line, it's growing the top and the bottom line at the same time. And an internal or external safety audit can help you do that and continually grow. Well, thank you for your time on understanding why manufacturers should care about safety audits. My name is Bryan McDonald from the Taylor Group, and if you have any questions or want to expand or want to learn more about safety audits and safety programs or any of the safety initiatives that the Illinois Manufacturers Association can help you with, please contact me by my phone number or my email address you see on the slide. Take care.